Hi, darling. Welcome back. There is a video that I've been thinking about recently. It is a video by Tefelo who talks about just how it was basically trending because she was talking about how hookup culture affects everyone. Hookup culture is an indication of one's self esteem, it's an indication of how one feels about themselves internally. It created a huge discourse online for the past week, and I want us to actually watch the video before I go into detail about what today's video will center on. But I'm pretty sure you already know from the title.
You sleep around because you do not love yourself. Unfortunately, our generation has really normalized hookup culture. We have normalized sleeping around and sleeping with people that you don't even know. People go to the club nowadays, they meet someone that they're physically attracted to, and then they just sleep with them. Don't get me wrong, I am all for sexual liberation, okay? At the rate that our generation is going, firstly, there are so many reasons why you shouldn't be sleeping with someone that you just met. As cliche as it sounds, you do not know them. You don't know what diseases they carry. You don't know what energy they carry. You know nothing about them. You only know as far as they have told you about themselves. Also, being a man that sleeps around does not make you the man. I promise you, we are way past that. If you are a man that sleeps around, we see you the same way that you guys see a woman that sleeps around. It's so crazy how this thing is only imposed onto women and it's rarely ever imposed onto men. Every time a woman sleeps around, they're going to say that she's very easy. And you know who says all these things? You guessed it, men. Almost every person that I've ever spoken to that has been partaking in sleeping with a lot of people that they don't know always says, I am just a girl, or I am just in my 20s. Your 20s are for living. Don't get me wrong, your 20s are for living, but there's a fine line between you living and you ruining your future. You can live, you can go out and party and do all these things that you want to do, but you don't gotta take it that far every time. I've never spoken to anyone who used to sleep around who actually said that they would do it again. I'm not saying that your 20s should be boring, but I'm saying that there's more to your 20s than you being a victim of hookup culture. Right now, I'm specifically talking to my girls, okay? You don't want to look back at your 20s and all you did during your 20s was chase after men and sleep around, okay? Because I promise you, some of these mistakes that we make in our 20s are irreversible. And just like that, we are done. I look good. I feel good. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love you guys so much. I'll see you guys in my next one.
So, what is the point of today's video? What I want to talk about is the missing piece in this conversation, because I feel like we've had the conversation when it comes to sexual liberation movement, hooking up, sleeping around. We can say whatever we want to say about sleeping around, selling your body. People are still going to do it. For example, selling your body is the oldest profession. Even the Bible has quotes of people, of women who would be in that type of work. So it's a very old career, if you call it a career. And there's constantly a missing piece. We are aware, I believe we are aware of the negative sides of hookup culture, of sleeping around, especially when it comes to women. There's a huge emphasis on the fact that if you're a woman and you sleep around, you have to worry about obviously pregnancy, catching diseases. There's also the politics around body count and what's inappropriate or what's appropriate for a woman's body count. So there is a huge double standard.
How many body counts are considered too many?
Misgender.
Okay, for a woman.
For women?
Yeah.
I could always say 3. So I'll say 3. Yeah, 3. More than 3 is too much.
For a man?
For men, some talk. We are like you are men. So
Infinity.
1.
1 is too many?
Yeah. Infinity talk. Infinity.
Okay. Nah, infinity.
Because it's men, so we can't always, it's men.
So weird.
How do I put? I guess the whole notion is like if a guy has a higher body count, he just reinforces to the people that the guy is more desirable. Like he gets girls and girls want him. And from a psychological framing, it's like, okay, now what's going on with this guy that he's able to obtain X, Y, and Z? You know, because we are usually in the position of trying to get the girls, where girls are like the gatekeeper of sex. So if she has a large body count, we perceive it as like, oh, nah, she's just letting any random person get with her. So it's too weird framing, because like given the nature,
to be a random person. Like in your case, it could have been her person at that time.
So like you said, if the time frame that you've been having sex for and you have X amount,
okay, so you get it when it's with girls, but when it's with you, you don't
it just
seem
means
to understand.
I'm desirable. They want me. I'm joking, but like
when it comes to the conversation of sexual liberation and sleeping around, there is going to be a double standard. Yes, you might not be uncomfortable with it, but that is the reality. A lot of the times, women are judged more harshly for participating in hookup culture compared to men. This is not to project what I think you should do when it comes to hookup culture, because what I always believe when it comes to this topic is that inform people of the dangers, the physical dangers of hookup culture, the mental dangers of hookup culture and sleeping around, and let people make informed decisions on their own if they want to participate in it. Because as much as we can say you shouldn't do this, even if you come from a religious background and you're going to say it's sinful, it's whatever, people have been sexually active even in high school. We would have students in our high school who were pregnant. A lot of my classmates were sexually active. So as much as people can say you shouldn't do this, humans are human beings and humans are not infallible. They will still participate in hookups. They will still participate in sexual activity, even with the information available. So I believe the most important thing in these conversations is to actually, you can't stop people from doing what they want to do. You can't. Especially once there's human emotions involved, because also I feel from a psychological perspective, people want to belong. People want to feel desirable. There is a need. Some people just want their physical needs met. So it's a very complicated conversation. But what is something that I want to point out that is very important? We shame a lot of women for participating in hookup culture. And I have understood that yes, women will be judged more harshly for participating or sleeping around. But we actually forget the missing piece. What is this missing piece? It's the men. There seems to be this neglect and understanding that men are also affected negatively in some ways by sleeping around. And I'm not going to try and convince you to stop. I want you to know that, yes, outside of catching STDs, outside of pregnancy, there are conversations we're not having about the psychological implications of hookup culture on men as well, because the conversation always centers around trying to blame women, shame women, but also neglecting the boy child. Before I go deeper into this conversation, I want us to go into this conversation of selling your body. Selling your body has become on a rise. But there's such an intricate link to it that is so dangerous that a lot of men don't talk about. But what I want to showcase before I show you the dangers of hookup culture or sleeping around when it comes to men, I want to show you examples of these particular women who fall into kind of different layers of the S-work industry. I would like to say certain words on YouTube, but demonetization and all that. So I'm just going to say S-work. The girls who I'm going to show you are participating in some form of S-work. And it's different layers. It's like the bottom layer, which is working the streets. It's the middle layer, which is like escorting, meeting men in their houses or going to out calls and meeting men. And then it's also the baddie. We don't talk about how also the baddie is also connected with hookup culture. There is a culture of these young ladies who are beautiful and have a high social media following. Not all of them, but they are broad. There is a picture where we see them basically being companions for a night with very wealthy men, or even for a week or so. So there are cases where you can tell that this is also a form of S work. And for me, I don't have an issue with these particular cases because these women are actually open about it. But before I go on, let's watch the videos.
You're not gonna just come through and just change things, change how everything is run. Who are you? Is your voice that big? Do you get what I'm saying? So if the streets have been charging 50 rand and there's the clients have been there for like years and they know that's the price that they've been paying ever since then, you're gonna have to succumb to the same, situation. So if they're charging 50 rand and you're charging 150 rand, I mean, you gotta have to give them a very good explanation of why you're charging this much, and they're gonna tell on you.
Tell on you.
They're gonna tell on you. Yes, clients, they do that. They tell on us.
Who do they tell? I mean, like
they tell the other girls. Like they tell the other workers. That girl is charging. Did you know that girl is charging 50 rand?
Oh.
Or maybe, you know how they manipulate us? The way they will manipulate us, they'll be like, if you say I'm charging 100 rand for like 30 minutes. I'm charging 100 rand for 30 minutes. Then they'll be like, since when? And now you have to explain yourself, manje, since when? Like, what do you mean since when? That's my price.
Oh.
Go to argue. Try. No, that's not the price that we're used to.
Oh.
And he'll say we as a collective.
Oh.
Because they are a team of buyers.
Oh.
So when they come to buy, they know this is the normal standard
going rate. Okay.
Yes, this is the going rate. Do you understand? So if it's 50 rand, if it's 70 rand, that's the rate. You understand? So now you need to explain yourself why you're charging 100 rand.
Do you host or do they host you?
Let me ask you this. What's the most dangerous situation you've been in?
I know people that think I'm like, I'm not.
What happened?
I went to Waterfall next to Mall of Africa. You know those nice houses there?
Yeah.
When I get there, the guy was like, he offered me, keep on offering me alcohol, like, drink one. Do you smoke weed? And then I need to know, why are you not drinking? No, I'm not going to drink, but just drink. I want you to have fun. I want you to give it all to me. And it was time to sleep now. And then he showed me a room to sleep alone. I was like, why am I sleeping alone? Because I came here to fuck you and you give me my money in the morning. And I was like, no, we can't fuck, but I have someone who can fuck you. I was like, who is the someone? He's like, no, you're gonna see that someone, but just wanna get in the room, be naked, and just sleep. Okay. I mean, I thought it's a brother, maybe.
Yeah.
Or a friend. And then I came and then. I don't know if I was dreaming or what, but I saw a snake wanting to sleep with me. And I quickly ran off. I was like, no, I can't sleep with the snake. Like, no. No, I can't do this. And he was like, okay, take your things and go back home. I'm not going to give you money to go back. I was like, no, it's okay.
Describe a snake. Was it a snake as we know it? What size was it? I've always been fascinated by snake.
It was a small snake. It was not a giant. It's a small snake, a black snake, and normal.
So what was it going to do?
I don't know, because I was like, no.
Oh my goodness.
You're kidding, right?
No, I'm not. I swear to God. There's a lot.
That's the craziest.
Oh my god.
Jeez, man, that's wild.
Okay, wait, explain, man. What's the snake there to do?
No, it's the way it gains his money luck or whatever. You know,
they have to
like the snake will take my leg.
Yeah.
Then there's a cool begele zone. Zozagoy.
Whoa, man, this is crazy, guys.
How did you see the snake? Was it still on the floor or was it on top of you?
Ingenile and behamba ngala igcineni kwayo beyiphakamile so bengahambi kanje.
Oh, it was up.
It was up.
No, man, you're shitting, right?
I swear, I don't know if I was dreaming here or what.
Yo, this is a waterfall,
bro.
In Midrand.
Yes.
Hey, Hook, do you guys know this?
Hi, man. Hi, man. Wow.
Is that guy famous?
No. All right, low key. But yes, man.
So after that, you still do what you do, like.
Hey, yeah, yo.
Have you not put maybe on your profile? Okay.
No snakes.
No snakes.
So are you selling? I am not selling, but I'm gonna put it like this. Right? Where's the camera? I want to look at the camera. I actually just want to make it clear that a lot of people actually think this is like prostitution and this is like, no, but it's actually knowing your value, because it can happen that I'll go to a guy to get smashed and I'll come back home with so much, but they would come back hungry, desperate, having so much anger. And I feel like I have things to do. I have gas to pay, honey, my wig.
Yes,
do you know
darling.
how much this is? You know? So I really want to always go with someone that understands that. That's why
that can maintain
me, because the noise, they're probably doing all the noise because they don't know the experience, or they can't get to that level where they can demand certain things from men. But when I come to the table just the way I am, and I am the table, and you're going to give me what you want. You're going to give me what I want.
These ladies are significant to this conversation. Uwandi and Sign Bougie. I forgot the other lady's name. Why are they significant to this conversation? Because they are a contrast to what I'm going to share in terms of what affects men negatively when they participate in sleeping around, the potential dangers that we never actually touch upon. The conversation is always like, oh, if a girl sleep around, you're an SLUT or you are a HORE. The conversation is always centered around shaming women, and I've accepted that it is a double standard that exists, whether you like it or not, because we live in a society that is very still patriarchal to an extent. You will still deal with that. And I'm not trying to say hookup culture is good, sleeping around is good, or sleeping around is bad. It is just a reality that we have to accept, that young people, teenagers, adults, married people, young people, whatever, are participating in it. We can't be delusional and think that this is not happening when it is a reality. Ask people who work in hotels. Ask high school students. Ask people in university. Hookup culture, sleeping around, is happening, and I'm not saying everyone is doing it, but there is a huge percentage of people who are participating in it. So we can't act like it doesn't exist. But why I pointed out these particular women, because what they are doing, they're very transparent, they're very honest about they engage in transactional relationships with men, that you get my body and I get money. That is S work. You're selling your cookie to get money. That is S work. Whether or not they would try, because I know Sign Bougie in that clip, she kind of like doesn't want to say it is what it is, but it is what it is. If you are exchanging your beauty, your body for monetary gain, that is S work, whether you like it or not. It's a transaction. It's not love. It's based off he wants your physical body and you want money. That is a transaction. And these three women fall into like these tiers that I talked about. It is almost like the bottom tier, the street walker, the woman who works on the street. 1D is like the escort, goes to different, like for hookups and stuff like that. And then there's the baddie one who is like only engages for the right man, for the highest bidder, for the right baller. Here is where the danger is. The danger is in the opposite. There are a lot of women who are not honest about the fact that they participate in hookup culture, that they participate in S work, that they are actually selling their bodies, and they're very dishonest about it. These three women that I quoted are very honest about it, which I appreciate. So the men come into the situation knowing, but there's a danger in the women who are very dishonest about the fact that they are women of the night. There is a danger there, especially for men. Because we like to say women are going through, like there's a lot of issues that women are obviously going through. GBV, death, it's dangerous to participate. It's more dangerous for a woman to sleep around than it is for a man. But why are we ignoring the dangers that men are not invincible creatures that are not affected by this? There is a thread of tweets that I will show you that indicate some of the dangers that we don't talk about when it comes to men as they engage in hookup culture. There are many potential dangers waiting out there for men who want to sleep around. And I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just giving you the information to know that if you do decide to do it, these are the potential dangers that are outside in the world. Sifungesi says, guys, this selling of sex has been normalized. And I'm not talking about sex work. I'm talking about everyday people. How did we get here? All I'm saying is, if someone is selling, they must say upfront and we can move from there. This BS of chatting, dates, vibes, and then you only find out just before after the actions is just BS. Kabelo says, sex has never been free for men. Mistakes you shouldn't make in life. Going home with a woman you met at Groove. This other dude came to GP from Limpopo in July for a job opportunity. Now, he finds himself in Sun City, looking at 15 years. Crazy. There's also a Facebook post that I saw. Met this girl at the weekend. We agreed to go home together. The next morning, she demanded 1,500 rand, but I told her I only got 500. She denied it and only took 20 rand for taxi fare. 1 hour after she left, the police came at my house with a charge of rape. Please be aware. Marvin G responded, at least it was 1.5. I once paid 10K from that, and the lady was demanding 15K. It happened to me once. Got the B from Coffee Midrand. She asked me to pay 500 rand in the morning. We agreed. From then, in the morning, she was demanding 5,000 rand. I was like, hell no, I'm a foreigner. Not me. Today, Saturn had a camera in my room. Well, she didn't know. I give her 500 rand. She left. Later on, she came back with cops. I explained and then I paid the cops 1,000 rand. The lady cop slapped her and she spoke the truth. I was warned. Since then, no P from Groove, only Tinder 35 plus. Kasi Boy says, 15 minutes after the girl you picked up at Groove leaves your place in the morning. If you're going to a club, you must have 6K 1K for drink, and 5K in case of a false grape in the morning. Pharaoh says, chilling with a babe who's actively lying to her man about her whereabouts while she's lying next to you does something to you, bruh. Programmer responded, yes, it firstly comes with a sweet bad guy feeling, but the damage is crazy. The trust issues from women skyrocketed so bad. Hard to trust your babe because of crazy experiences. Irunia responded, if you experience this, you will never trust any woman again. The worst is when she tries to become your main babe. Chief Ozokwe responded, in your early years, this will sound fun, might even boost your ego until you get to your late 20s and you'd understand its damages on your psyche. Victor says, the dangerous side of being a side dude. Most guys believe it's germane to be a side, but I tell you, it's more dangerous. It messes up your psychology to a point that even when you meet a good woman, you still can't trust her. It builds up this apprehensive mindset in you. I remember that Twitter post from Sivu Ngezi and from Kabelo. I remember that's what kind of incited this conversation because it reminded me of something that is very popular right now in the South African pop culture, in the underworld that we don't talk about, is the fact that hookups, sleeping around, one night stands, it's not like in the early 2000s. I don't know because I was still a kid by then. But I know that one night stands used to exist as well in the early 2000s, probably even in the 80s and the 90s. These things existed. That's how some of us exist and were born. But there's something that I realized that men don't talk about, or they only talk about it on social media under fake accounts. And it's that there are a lot of men who have gone through similar experiences where they participate in sleeping around. You meet a girl at a club and then you get home, you sleep with her, and then by the morning you realize that you gotta cough out money. You have to give her money because she was actually at work. She didn't like you. There's this guy I remember, this is like a personal story. He was a photographer and he was telling me a story about how he met a girl on Tinder, and basically he invited the girl over. They had drinks. He told me they didn't do anything, but by the morning, the girl requested 5K. And these are some of the dangers we don't talk about. There was even an article that I remember of a man who went on a dating app. This article, he went on a dating app because he is so HORNY. He went on this date to meet up with this woman at her place, only to get robbed by other men who were in that vicinity, to get robbed and get his bank accounts cleared. There is a physical element of unsafety that, and I know these stories, a lot of people feel like it could never be me. A lot of men probably feel like it could never be them. But I'm just putting awareness out there that it exists. There are women who go to the clubs with the intention to get money from you, and they will never tell you that they are S-workers because they know that men won't basically participate. I think for a lot of men, there's also an ego thing. They don't want to pay for rounds. They don't want to pay for that. And I understand why. You want to feel like it's a mutual thing. It's a mutual attraction. But unfortunately, we have to live in a reality. Yes, there is potential to meet someone and you just like them and it clicks. But nowadays, the girls are on business. The girls are on business. And it's one of the reasons why I feel like I don't understand how men feel like they are so invincible when it comes to sleeping around, especially sleeping around with girls from the clubs. They feel like they're so invincible, and you are willing to risk going to prison. We can talk about false rape accusations. Cool, they do exist. We've pointed them out. But why are you putting yourself in a position where you could potentially face 15 years like that tweet said? You could face 15 years in a jail for a false accusation. That is the danger that exists for men. There is that danger that men don't want to talk about when it comes to sleeping around. You can do it. You probably haven't been in trouble, but you could be the unfortunate one who gets into a scenario like that. Sleeping around affects men physically because obviously you can catch something like a woman. It also affects you basically safety-wise. You could get arrested, you could get in huge trouble if you think you're this invincible man who is just champion smasher. You meet random girls. There's also the financial part that people don't talk about because a lot of the men have to pay. You have to pay. You have to pay the money in order to not go to jail. And then there is also the mental aspects that we don't talk about. I believe that not everyone is built to participate and sleep around. There are people who exist, like your Bonnie Blues. If you know Bonnie Blue, you know Bonnie Blue. I don't think most people have that ability to completely detach themselves from sexual activity, mentally just be detached. So I genuinely believe there is a mental health aspect that people don't talk about. See those last tweets that I showed you? A lot of the times men who participated in sleeping around have an inability to trust women afterwards, especially if you were sleeping with someone's girlfriend. Because if you are going to sleep around, some of the people you are going to sleep around are people's partners. And I saw this thread of men talking about how they would be in the same bed with a woman and she could be talking to her boyfriend on the phone and how that has affected them mentally, because in the moment they felt powerful that they have someone's girlfriend, but then afterwards you are also going to have a girlfriend and now you are unable to build trust with her because of all those experiences you participated in. So you do have to realize that men are just not invincible and indestructible, bulletproof when it comes to sleeping around. Yes, they don't get pregnant. Yes, they don't get, I don't know, maybe mentally exhausted by it. They don't get slut shamed. They don't get those things, but there is a possibility of you getting arrested if you're not careful and just sleeping around carelessly. There is the ability that your finances, your career will basically end. You'll go to jail, your career will end, and mentally you have trust issues. You have trust issues. You can't be with your girlfriend freely now because of all the things you were doing in the past, and now you're thinking, this could be my karma. Why am I pointing this out? I'm pointing this out because there's been a huge surge of, like, you know, these conversations around masculinity, the red pill content, the type of content that promotes that men are more logical than women. This clearly shows you that no sex is more logical than the other. These types of things show that men are also not indestructible. They are also easily swayed by their other head. And I'm not saying all of you, I know some of you are enlightened and deep and intellectual. You don't participate in these things and These are just observations. I'm not generalizing, but it is a reality that this is a thing. And it made me think about this thing. If men are these profound leaders, they are naturally leaders, naturally providers, because that's the narrative masculinity podcast promotes, that men are just logical and rational and women are just emotional and illogical. If we think about this conversation of sleeping around, would you trust a leader who could easily be distracted the moment someone throws pum pum in their face? The moment your leader is walking straight forward, leading you guys, but if we throw a cookie to him, now he's going in the opposite direction. This is why a lot of women don't trust men. They don't trust even their friends around their men, because it's like, how can I trust you to lead me when if someone throws a cookie at you, there's a very high chance that the cookie is the most powerful thing and it will basically cause you to take a different direction. Let me put this in business terms. Would you work with someone who is willing to lose 1,000 rand for 1 rand? Would you think that is a very wise business idea? That 1,000 rand represents a man's family, his kids, his wife, his marriage. That 1 rand is that quick snack mazimba that you get on the street. And you would trust someone who's willing to lose all that, because if you sleep around and you're also participating in cheating and all that, how can I trust you? Because you have the ability, you've made a choice that could potentially lead to the destruction of your family, lead to a divorce, lead to a broken home, just because you wanted that 1 rand, just because you wanted that cookie that was available at the club. That's why whenever I hear these conversations around, no, you must have a fridge and then you have a cooler box, I'm like, what logic is that? If we're going to shame women for sleeping around, men should equally be made to be accountable for the fact that their actions are also illogical. Their actions are irrational as well. Because why are you telling me you would lose your family? You would risk losing your wife and family because you are just a man and you just need to release. Like, you just need to, sleeping around for men is different, cheating for men is different, but there is destruction that happens there. You still want to be seen as a leader, a provider, this masculine head, this head of the family. How can I trust the head of the family when the head of the family could literally just, like a dog, be distracted as soon as someone throws a cookie in your face? I forgot to add this point. These industries, this hookup culture, this escorting, this S-work industry would not exist if men were not buying into it. So as much as we can shame women for being HOEs, selling their bodies, they will continue selling their bodies because there's a demand for it. They will continue using their bodies for their benefit because men also are willing to pay the price. There is no difference in who is more logical and who is illogical, because we can obviously see that men can also be influenced by their bodily functions. The same way men say women are influenced by their emotions, they make decisions based on emotions. Men also make decisions at times based on their genitals. There is accountability that needs to be placed on women, obviously participating and using their femininity, their bodies to benefit financially. But also there's something to be said about the fact that men also create and sustain these industries. Selling your body has existed since the beginning, since the Bible was written. So if we're going to judge people and shame people for the existence of sleeping around and all that, there's multiple people who contribute. It's not just the women. It's a collective effort that is sustaining this thing. This conversation is not to shame men or women, because this is a reality of life. A lot of people are participating in sleeping around. Not everyone, but a lot of people. We're constantly getting scandals and scandals of cheating. Go to TikTok, someone's getting cheated on, relationships are breaking up. People are participating in sleeping around. Yes, maybe because this is my echo chamber, but this is something that I'm seeing and I'm being aware of, and it exists. I'm not saying every single person in South Africa is just sleeping around and, giving themselves away. But in this conversation of hookup culture and sleeping around, I think we tend to forget that also there is a danger available for men that nobody actually goes into deep detail about. The conversation is always centered around basically judging and degrading women, which I've accepted. It is a double standard that exists, but we don't talk about the dangers. For me, I made this video because I want you to be aware. Whether you're a man or a woman, I need you to be aware that if you're going to participate in sleeping around, be aware of the fact that there are potential dangers in this type of lifestyle. There are dangers you might encounter. So this for me is more about just leaving information out there and letting people kind of make their own informed decisions. But I want to know, what do you think about this conversation? How do you feel about hookup culture? How do you feel about this conversation of sleeping around? I want to hear your opinions in the comment section. And if you got to this part of the video, leave a book emoji in the comment section. And thank you for watching, darling. Bye-bye.